All right, guys. So, something that just kind of has been on the back of my mind for a little bit recently. I've been doing content on breaking for a long time. Since the early 2000s, I've been technically uploading footage, to YouTube of me dancing since I was a kid. Um, I just got more into it, probably talking about breaking in probably like 2020, 2021. I was doing this like 3 times a week. I was streaming. I was watching battles, like anytime that I was on. So um, I kind of got out of it and I got back into it. And, I started really looking at content on breaking on social media. And I started thinking, like, okay, like, why is content on breaking not that. Not that big, right? It doesn't really catch everybody's eyes. Besides it being very niche to like the breaking community, but even in the breaking community, I don't think breaking content outside of breaking itself is really that big, right? Um, I feel like a lot of people just don't really care too much on interviews. They don't really care too much on other aspects of content besides the breaking, right? Going to a competition with a camera, recording the battles, posting them online is the best content for breaking, right? Which is technically it's not even content at that point. It's just you recording a battle and putting it online, right? There's not really a creative thought process that goes into you sitting on a floor and recording. Um, so any other content outside of that, are people really that interested? Are breakers that interested in listening to interviews, right? I think some are, but I think majority, they don't really care too much on interviews. I'm just being honest. I'm one of those people who do interviews too. Um, but over time, I find myself, like if I see an interview go up, like, am I like, do I really want to watch this? Like, I feel like a lot of us are kind of, we all come from the same way of growing up in the community. We all go through most of the same things. I am interested in the pioneers' backstories because, it's the history of hip hop. It's the history of how breaking began, how things have changed. So I am interested in them type of interviews. But I think, like, for the more, like, I don't know, the newer guys, or even around my generation, like, I don't care too much for an interview. I would rather be watching breaking. I think that's why content around breaking is just, I don't know, it's very stale. Can I say it's kind of stale, without people losing their minds at me in the comment section? And I don't mean it in like a bad way. I just think it's very neutral. I think it's cool to hear stories, but am I fiending for it? Like, am I really like, oh, this interview's up, oh shit, we're gonna watch it? Like, I don't think I'm ever in that mindset of wanting to watch an interview that much. So, outside of that, we have tutorials, right? And tutorials are, I think, fantastic for people. I think there's multiple people teaching multiple different ways of how to do a flare, which kind of is a bad thing in a way. Also, it's a good thing because not everybody is the same. Not everybody's body is the same. So it's kind of good to see the different ways of teaching. Also, bad because it's teaching bad habits because you're teaching so many different ways. So you don't want to build bad habits up. So if you are new and you are watching this, be wary of YouTube tutorials because sometimes they are not teaching you correctly or just the way that your body is kind of made to be doing that move. So, take tutorials with a grain of salt. But outside of tutorials, you have breaking battles, you have some interviews, but then what do you have outside of that? Not really anything. I mean, we've had, meme pages. I think the meme pages are hilarious. I think it actually adds something a little bit extra to the scene. I think they're funny. I think they're great. I think it's something spiced up for the community. I think we need something like that. I think the meme pages are funny. I think any kind of the Devil Up comedy guys who did the skits, like back in the day with like Strife TV when they used to do like skits with the community. I think we're missing that. You know what I mean? I think we're missing content that is like funny or like something that is exciting to watch outside of just breaking or just interviews. I mean, they're all over the place. It's the same thing every time. I don't know how many times I can watch an interview with, I don't know, somebody like Remind, right? Like, I hear a story once and I'm cool with it. But then once we start getting into the same story from okay, so when did you start breaking? Cool. What got you into break? It's the same. And I know we can like switch it up and we can kind of like talk about other stuff in interviews, but like even that, I just don't think breakers are really that interested in interviews. you know, I think they want breaking and they want a little bit of spice. And by spice, I mean sometimes they like the drama. They like the tea. That's exactly what breaking, I think, is missing. And I think content creators fall into this weird fence sitting kind of situation where everybody wants to be positive. And I get it. We are breakers and we want breaking to look very positive for everybody. We want breaking to be the most positive thing, right? But we have to be honest, and breaking is not the most positive thing all the time. And I think we're missing talking about these times. Like, we need to talk about the stuff that is not right in breaking, all right? And I think fence sitting and playing the angel on both sides of the situation is just kind of stale, right? It doesn't really give a talking topic for people. So, hey, maybe some people don't like this organization. I'm not going to sit here and play both sides where I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? We should be positive and we should talk, we shouldn't really talk negative on anything. Like, no, we need to have these conversations, I think. And I think we're missing that in content and people being on social media and talking about this. Yeah, obviously you're going to have, another side disliking you, but is it better to have the side disliking you that you're not with, or is it better to have both sides hating on you because you're in the middle, and this side doesn't like you because you're sitting with this side, and this side doesn't like you because you're sitting with this side, right? I would say stick to the side that you're with and talk about that side. And I think most of the community is usually together on a lot of these situations. There's big organizations sometimes that do some pretty shitty things, and I think it's okay to sit with the community on that side. I know content creators are coming up and they're afraid of getting on the bad side of these organizations, but I'm just being honest. Like, breaking in general is not that big of a thing where I'm scared that, hey, if that side doesn't like me anymore, I'm done on YouTube. Like, it doesn't scare me that much. I would rather talk and sit with the side of B-boys and B-girls, and be, hated by somebody who is doing the community wrong, which I feel they're doing wrong. So, yeah, I would rather stick with the dancers than side with an organization that I'm just trying to be nice because I'm trying to be positive about breaking. I think we need to be more honest, and we need to stop being so positive about everything, because not everything is positive in breaking. There are issues, and they do need to be talked about. And I just think that's something that's lacking, and we can kind of like talk more about this. But when certain situations come up and people say, "Oh, well, we're just milking for drama right now," it's not really milking for drama. It's just talking about the fucking situation that's happening. Excuse my language, but I think it needs to be talked about. And hey, if it's gonna get people talking, I think it's a good thing. I think we should talk about these situations. Other than that, it's kind of the focus I want to move towards in 2025 going forward, starting in the next week or two. I just want to get into stuff that's a little deeper than just the, hey, let's stay positive. Let's just talk about all the good stuff in breaking. I think we should talk about the stuff that we have issues with, and we should kind of talk about. And of course, like, I've seen the comments from good to bad on any video that I do. There's always going to be people disagreeing with me, but, I'd rather be standing by the people that I agree with and getting them hate comments than trying to be, the positive poly and everybody trying to make everybody like me. It's just, at the end of the day, this is just breaking, and these are my thoughts. Our opinions are, there's always going to be people disagreeing with me. I just would rather be on the side of my gut feeling, So, moving forward, that's probably what I'm going to be aiming to. I mean, technically, moving forward, I'm not here to just talk about breaking, basically, at the end of the day. I kind of want to move past break, not leave breaking behind, but I want to get into stuff that's more than just breaking. So 2025 will be a good year, but we'll see. We'll see how many hate comments I get and if I last again. Other than that, I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll probably be live streaming again. So hope everybody had a good holiday, and I'll see you then. Bye.